you. And Kate, you and your team, you have been amazing. I have the Green Bronx machine that's here, their entire team. And just really, I think that this is really what Chancellor Banks talks about all the time, about the full development of our children. So far, so often, we ignore all of the aspects of our children in their development and what we need to do. And so I just really want to thank everyone that's here as we roll out this ambitious program of how do we look at food and what we should do to make sure our young people and children are prepared. We focus on academic achievement, but we don't focus on the emotional development of a child and the health and welfare of a child. We have been feeding the healthcare crises in our city and in our country. And these young people are so ready. It's challenging. This is it's time to eat your broccoli moment. You know, we may complain about it in the beginning, but then we do a reflection of our healthcare needs and realize that Mama was right all along, eat your vegetables. But we should also make sure food must look good, it must be good, but it must taste good. And we have to focus in the cultural norms that are attached to eating. And what Kate and her team are doing with the Department of Education and the amazing food service workers is how do we put in place programs like plant-powered Fridays, meatless Mondays, how we allow our young people to be part of choosing their meals and finding the right assortment of meals to do so. But it also incorporates the learning opportunities that's with it. So what they learn here, they would take out into their communities and at home and start educating their family members on making better meal choices. Many of the chronic diseases that we are seeing, they are food related, and we are breaking away from the belief that it was in our DNA. No, it's not. It's in your dinner. It is what you are serving at home. It's not your lineage. I like to say it's your lunch. It is not where you're born. It's your breakfast. And the two primary meals of breakfast and lunch that are served in our school system, they become the foundational meals for many of our children. If they don't get quality meals in our school buildings, they're not finding them around their community, particularly in black and brown communities where you don't have healthy food, you have fast food that's laden with fat, sugar, overprocessed, and it really impacts their overall, not only physical health, but their mental health as well. My mother was a food service worker. She served children every day in Amstead Daycare Center. She was in the kitchen. She understood how important the meal was for the children that came before us. Little did we know that the food we was placing on the plate of our children was adding to some of the chronic diseases that they were growing up and they were living with. We're turning that around. This is a bold, ambitious step that I believe that's going to lead the nation on having us think differently about the food we are serving our children. And I want to just thank the Chancellor for being willing to look at all of these aspects of how do we make sure our children are prepared for tomorrow. This is not easy. When you start talking about examining food, children stop me sometime on the street and say, I want my pizza and my hot dog again. What are you doing? These are tough times to make these tough decisions. But there's going to come a time where these young scholars are going to look back at this moment and they're going to say this was the right thing to do at the right time, as all of us are now leaning into the attachment of the food we serve and how it is feeding the healthcare crisis we are facing. Childhood obesity, childhood diabetes, some of the mental health issues that we are seeing. Science is showing us over and over again of the relationship between what we eat and how it impacts our body. I know firsthand, You know, many know of my story of reversing my type 2 diabetes because of changing my diet. We can do this together. This is a bold step, and we're proud to take this step together and ensure we start having healthy food and education in our school system. Job well done.